Next is a video interview that was taken with Pratt-Korbel. She is asked to describe in her own words what happened on Monday, August the 22nd. She says, "I was upstairs, my little sister was in bed, and my brother was in his room. My mum was downstairs. I heard 2 shots. I thought it was fireworks. Then I heard a second one. I thought, no, that's not fireworks. I jumped out of my mum's bed and went to the window. There were 2 lads running down the road. I seen the front door light come on. My mum was opening the door. She's gone out. My little sister obviously got out of bed and went downstairs saying she was scared. They ran towards the house. My mum was outside, so she was running back to the house. My sister was going to the living room because it was on the latch, it didn't shut properly. Me and my mum were holding it then. Then another shot got fired. That's when it went through my mum's wrist, and then my next door neighbour said 999. I ran upstairs and rang 999. I heard mum screaming that Olivia had been hit. Then another 2 shots went off, but no one else was injured. My mum were just pressing on my little sister with towels trying to stop the bleeding. I was still on the phone and my brother came out of the room to go downstairs to see what was happening. My brother started shouting at the man sat on the doorstep telling him to get out of the house, and he wouldn't. My next door neighbour came in and basically tried to. The next word was inaudible, but he says on live, and I'm guessing that meant CPR. She continues, "While that was happening, my brother was still shouting. I was speaking to the man on the phone. There was some man, he walked diagonally across the left. He seen the car coming down slowly. He stopped just after my house, and the man stumbled, fell onto his knees and lay down on the floor in the road. My mum shouted me to get another towel. I ran down and got the towel and brought it back up. I was still on the phone to 999. They were asking me, is she still breathing? I said I don't know. All I could hear was my mum shouting." Speaking about the 2 men, Chloe says, "There was 2 people. I could see what they looked like. They tried to get in. The lad that got shot, the lad on the doorstep, he was trying to get in the house. He was pushing the door but he couldn't get in because me and my mum were holding it. Obviously the gunman has followed the other lad that he was chasing. Obviously, when he was outside the house, he must have shot him. He was sat on the step. Mum went out to see if she could see anything. I was still upstairs. I only came down when she was coming in, because I heard my mum shouting to get in quick. That's when I ran down, and obviously I heard footsteps outside. I've tried to push the door open with my mum, and obviously the shooter has shot again through the door." The detective asked Chloe, who was her mum telling to get inside? Chloe says, "I didn't know if my sister was at the bottom of the stairs or my 2 neighbours. I literally just ran downstairs and pushed the door. After a few seconds, my brother came out of his room and ran down. He was behind me. I could just see me mum and the door. I don't know where my little sister was. She was downstairs, but I don't know where she was. She might have been behind, like past a walk in the living room. She might have been standing there. The person who was getting chased tried getting in the door, but he couldn't. Then another shot went off. That's when the one that hit me mum, but after that shot I ran upstairs because I knew it had hit her. I ran upstairs and heard my neighbour say ring 999. When the police got there, I went outside to get some air. Obviously I was bothered about the people, but I was just trying to think quickly. The detective asked what happens next. I was on the phone with them. I went round my mum's room just doing laps. My mum was working on my little sister, trying to stop the bleeding. While I was speaking to them, my brother was shouting down the stairs, "Get out my house." I was just looking out the window to see where the police were and the ambulance. The detective asked Chloe if she knew the man that the gunman was chasing. Chloe says, "I don't know who it was. When I was stood outside, I said to Ryan, 'Do you know who the lad was?' And he said, 'Yeah.' He said his name, Joey. We were just talking about that. I didn't know what Joey looked like. I only saw the back of his head." The detective asked Chloe, "Do you know his surname?" She replies, "Yes, Joey Nee." The detective asks, "This man, have you seen him before?" Chloe replies, "I didn't see his face. He just fell to his knees." The detective asks, "What could you hear?" Chloe says, "Men shouting, but I couldn't see them." The detective asks, "You said a car came down the road. Where did that car come from?" Chloe replies, "I think it came from the bottom end of the road, like from the KFC side. The car has come, then the man fell on his knees and lay down across the road. I don't know what happened after that." The people on the phone said, "Is she breathing?" and nobody answered me. The detective asks, "What did the car look like?" Chloe says, "I'm pretty sure it was black." The detective asks, "Was there anything more distinctive about the car that stood out?" Chloe says no. The detective says, "Then what happened?" And Chloe replies, "I was on the phone to 999. They was just asking me questions, asking was the shooter in the house." And that concludes Pratt-Korbel's video interview that was played to the jury.